Your real estate agent just told you this house has great bones, and I need you to stop right there before you sign a single thing. Because that phrase alone has cost homeowners I know tens of thousands of dollars in renovation bills they never saw coming. And the scary part is, the agent probably believed what they were saying. They weren't trying to mislead you, they just don't know what I know. And after spending decades in construction, renovation, and remodeling, I can tell you that certain phrases agents use are practically a map of the problems waiting for you on the other side of closing day. Hit subscribe before we begin, because this channel is where I break down everything the industry doesn't prep you for. And today's video might save you more money than anything else you watch this year. I'm Jerry Davis, and I've walked through thousands of homes, not as a buyer looking at paint colors and countertops, but as someone calculating what it actually costs to make a house livable, functional, and worth what someone paid for it. I've been called in after buyers closed on properties they thought were deals. I've stood in kitchens and bathrooms and unfinished basements while people told me what their agent said during the walkthrough. And I have to be honest with you, some of it would make your hair stand up. So today we're going through the specific things real estate agents say that should make you slow down, ask harder questions, and in some cases, walk away entirely. Not because agents are bad people. Most of them genuinely want to close a deal that works for you, but because their expertise is negotiation and market value, not construction. And those are two very different skill sets. Let's start with the big one: great bones. I hear this constantly, and I want you to understand what it actually means in practice. What the agent is really telling you is that the house is structurally standing, the walls haven't collapsed, and the roof is still attached. That's the bar. Great bones does not mean the plumbing is functional. It does not mean the electrical panel isn't a fire hazard from 1972. It does not mean the foundation hasn't settled in ways that will crack every tile you lay and every door you hang. Here's what no one tells you. A house with great bones can still have $60,000 worth of problems hiding behind those bones. Outdated cast iron drain lines that are rotting from the inside. Knob and tube wiring tucked inside walls that no insurance company will touch. A crawl space full of moisture damage that's been eating at the subfloor for 15 years. Great bones is a compliment that tells you almost nothing useful. When an agent says it, your job is to push back and ask specifically, what do the bones actually look like? Has there been a recent inspection? Is there a sewer scope on record? What's the age of the roof, the HVAC, the water heater, the electrical panel? Make them get specific, because vague praise is not a home inspection. Now let's talk about it just needs a little TLC. I get it. That phrase sounds manageable. A little touch-up here, a coat of paint there, maybe some new light fixtures. You're already picturing a fun weekend project and a home that's uniquely yours. But here's the problem. In agent language, TLC is a catch-all that can mean anything from replacing doorknobs to gutting the entire kitchen because the cabinets are sagging off the wall and the counters have water damage underneath. I've walked into TLC houses that needed new windows throughout because every single one was painted shut and fogged from failed seals. I've walked into TLC houses where the bathroom tile was just caulked over mold rather than properly remediated, and the smell hit you the second you turned on the shower. TLC is not a renovation budget. It is a warning that the home has been deferred on, and you need to figure out by how much before you make an offer. Don't let the charm of a fixable fixer distract you from getting a real number. This one drives me nuts. The sellers were very handy. Oh no. Oh, absolutely not. Run. Look, don't get me wrong. There are homeowners out there who are genuinely skilled, who do quality work, who pull permits and do things right. But for every one of those people, there are 10 who watched 3 YouTube videos and decided they could rewire an outlet, move a gas line, reframe a doorway, or reslope a shower floor. And the result is work that looks passable on the surface, but fails every code requirement, creates safety hazards you can't see, and costs double to fix because someone has to tear out the DIY work before doing it correctly. I've seen amateur plumbing that was draining backward. I've seen electrical junction boxes buried inside finished walls with no access panel, which is a code violation and a nightmare if something goes wrong. I've seen load-bearing walls with random holes cut through them because someone wanted to add a pass-through without consulting a structural engineer. When an agent tells you the cellars were handy, your response should be to ask for permits on any work done. And if there are no permits, price that into your offer or walk away. Unpermitted work means unpermitted problems. Can we please stop glossing over the phrase cosmetic issues only? Because this is where agents and buyers get into real trouble together. Cosmetic means paint, maybe flooring, maybe hardware. Cosmetic does not mean the ceiling has water stains from a roof leak that was patched but never properly fixed. Cosmetic does not mean the hardwood floors have a soft spot near the bathroom wall because there's a slow leak in the shower pan that's been wicking into the subfloor. Cosmetic does not mean the kitchen smells slightly off because there's a drainage issue behind the dishwasher. I cannot tell you how many times a home has been described as needing only cosmetic work, and I've found a structural or systems problem within the first 15 minutes of a walkthrough. Water damage, in particular, almost never stays cosmetic. It moves, it spreads, it finds studs and insulation and drywall and joists, and keeps going until someone stops it. If you see staining, soft floors, or any sign of past moisture, you are not looking at a cosmetic problem. You are looking at an investigation that needs to happen before you close. Here's one that sounds like a compliment and isn't. So much potential. Potential is what something has when it currently isn't what it needs to be. Potential means the layout is wrong. Potential means the finishes are outdated by 2 full decades. Potential means the yard is overgrown, the kitchen hasn't been touched since the 90s, and the bathrooms have pink tile, popcorn ceilings, and fixtures that the manufacturer stopped making parts for. None of that is a deal breaker by itself, but potential has a price tag, and that price tag needs to be calculated before you fall in love with the possibility of what a home could be. I always tell people, don't buy the potential. Buy what's actually there, and then decide if the cost of closing the gap between what's there and what you want is worth the price being asked. Now let's talk about open concept is easy to achieve here. No, stop. This is one of the most dangerous things an agent can casually throw out during a showing, because opening up a floor plan is one of the most expensive and structurally involved renovations you can do on a home. Every time you talk about removing a wall to create an open concept kitchen or living area, the very first question you need answered is whether that wall is load-bearing. Because if it is, you are not just removing drywall. You are engineering a beam, installing structural support, potentially reinforcing the foundation below, and pulling permits for the whole thing. I've seen homeowners quoted anywhere from $8,000 to $35,000 for a single wall removal once all the structural work is factored in. And the agent who said easy to achieve probably meant it visually. They saw a wall and thought, what if that wasn't there? That's not engineering, that's imagination. Before you buy any home with the idea of opening up the layout, get a structural engineer or an experienced contractor in there first. Know the real number before that potential becomes your problem. Here's a pro tip that almost nobody talks about. When an agent says a home is priced to sell quickly, pay attention to why it needs to sell quickly. Sometimes it's a genuine estate situation or a relocation. Fine. But sometimes a home is priced aggressively because it sat on the market for months, the sellers got desperate, and the price drop is masking something the market already rejected. Homes get rejected by buyers for reasons other people already walked through and passed. Ask how long it's been listed, Ask if there were any previous contracts that fell through. A contract falling through during inspection is one of the most telling signs that something came up. And whatever came up didn't get fixed. It just got a lower price tag. Don't get me wrong, there are great deals out there, and experienced buyers and investors find them every day. But there's a difference between a deal and a discount on a problem. And the way you tell the difference is by asking the right questions, getting the right people in to look at the property before you close, and understanding what the agent's phrases actually mean in construction terms. Tell me in the comments which one of these you've personally heard during a home tour, because I guarantee at least 2 or 3 of these show up in almost every buying experience people go through. I've talked to buyers who heard every single phrase on this list in one walkthrough and still bought the house. Some of them were fine. Some of them weren't. The ones who came out ahead were the ones who went in with their eyes open, hired good inspectors, and negotiated the real costs into the deal. A good home purchase isn't about falling in love with a space and hoping for the best. It's about understanding what you're actually buying: the systems, the structure, the deferred maintenance, the renovation reality, and making sure the number makes sense when all of that is factored in. That's what separates a smart buyer from someone who's going to be calling a contractor 6 months after closing, wondering why nobody warned them. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's currently house hunting, because they need to hear it before they sign anything. I'll catch you in the next one.